So you're saying communication would be a problem, right? Obviously, is that what you're pointing out?
Yeah, I would think it'd be essential that you probably want communication, definitely.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm confused then. Is he saying, are you saying that he is this lone visionary who wants to construct government where there was previously none, and so he has to teach everyone a common language, he has to build up and direct people to mine resources, he has to do all of this single-handedly, and then after he's established a foundation, somehow build rules to that for which they can govern themselves. Because that's going to take a goddamn long time for all of us to do that, not just him.
This is why it's called a thought experiment.
Yeah, so assuming we
It's a
can
long-term
shovel,
experiment.
assuming that we can shovel a lot of the obvious, like, okay, we would need communication, we would need certain
Yeah.
things. We really just want to start up the social contract level. So,
So can't we just assume that people are speaking the same language, rather than him saying, okay, I have to teach you Swahili, and you need to stop learning English,
Yeah.
and you need to, you know,
Well,
we just speak one common language. You don't even have to call it, you know, English. You can just call it.
let's just say we all speak Swahili
yeah,
per se.
There you go. Sounds funny.
Yeah, we're going to make the assumption that the individual who's making the government has some sort of symbol of power. You know, if you want to do Lord of the Flies, you got the conch shell. You know, or you're wielding the the hammer of Thor, whatever. And
You've got a 45. You have the only 45 in the world.
and whatever. And basically, you're designated with some sort of reason, and basically you are left in charge. Everybody's way behind you, and they say, build the government however you choose, and we will feel compelled to follow you as the leader, the president, if you want to do something like democracy, the brutal dictator. I mean, you're just gonna get to make this government any way you want. You're calling all the shots, you're making all the rules. What do you think is fair? Does fairness even really particularly matter to you?
Does that make sense?
All of this sort of stuff.
Assuming I think I'm qualified.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're qualified. You have the gun, so just
Hammer of Thor.
Hammer of Thor. That whatever works. So yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. You got
Yeah,
what
I
you
mean,
need to
I
do.
like a democratic government. I'm fine with that. Everyone has their own ideas and freedom of speech. Of course, I would fix the justice system, which is really effed up.
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? Well, there's a lot of innocent people, charged.
How does this happen?
Oh, they don't like Kelly's enthusiasm. Thor is the Thor.
You know, he just stole the hammer back.
Corrupt cops, officials accusing other people, getting away with that, So,
But how would you prevent that?
right? You tell me.
Unless you
I
get a
think
dictatorship
it's fair
and
that
then
you guys share your own opinions, right? I mean, I'm not going to be a dictator.
Okay.
Okay, so you're not going to be.
You're very much in favor of democracy. That's fine.
Are you talking about God, what are they called? It's been a while since I took a basic government course. No. There's two types of democracy: representative and what was the other one? Direct.
Direct democracy.
So we don't have direct democracy here in America.
Yeah.
What would you say? Would you choose direct or
No.
representative?
Especially
Okay.
when it's this big. I mean, the
Right.
population is this big.
But my question would then be, if you have a problem with the way
Right.
the justice system is run, and I know you were just drawing parallels from our government now to what your government would be, but let's just say that we did transpose the government. Why would you still be in favor of a representative democracy when you say that it's got so many faults? Not just corrupt cops and officials, but things like that. But I mean, you can sometimes think of cases like Plessy versus Ferguson, or where people are upholding clearly wrong cases. I mean, they get overturned later, like Brown versus the Board of Education and shit like that. But why still carry a representative democracy when it's got so many faults?
Well, the government, I mean, I'm not looking for a perfect government.
Right.
I think that's obvious, but you just have to accept that all governments are going to have flaws.
But if I may interject one thing, because I'm really glad you brought it up, and I actually didn't think it would be really picked up on so quickly, and it's that population matters when you're deciding how to make a government. But so for all intents and purposes, I would think that maybe you were alluding to this, maybe you're not, correct me if I'm wrong, you would decide on a different sort of government based on population. Like, say, if you were trying to choose a new government for the United States of right now and its size, as opposed to a government for the individuals in this room. So would you at least say that direct democracy would work if it was in this room, and it would even be preferable?
Yes.
Well. We opened up a can of worms. Hey,
All right, so let's conclude a little clap, and then what we're going to do is we're going to work side to side, because I don't think we're going to be able to finish everybody by 2 o'clock. So
No way.
start with you next. Clap. Yeah, dude. Democracy.
I'm down with democracy. Well,
So,
to an extent.
this is
Maybe
my
not.
idea. I think that looking at the economy and the state of the country right now, a lot of people are without work, and that's not okay, because if you don't work, you don't eat. What actually my husband and I have been discussing for a while now is what would make it okay for people to not have jobs. And basically our concept that we've kind of been fleshing out together would be a series of communes. Unfortunately, if you go Google a commune and look at their websites, a typical commune nowadays is you take a shower once a week and you don't have internet access. That's not okay with us.
How do they maintain their website if you don't have internet access?
Somebody there must, but the thing is that because of the IRS laws, the communes that actually post that sort of information online, they're legally classified as monasteries. So you cannot legally own anything, you cannot legally be paid. Anything that you own before you join the commune has to be either donated to the commune or sold off. That money can be held in an account for when you leave, but you cannot have access to that while you are a member. So it doesn't work within the structure of the United States government. So they own cars together, they own a couple of computers together.
The whole
but-
body owns
right.
these things.
But ultimately it's not the kind of lifestyle that most Americans would come to expect. So what would be my concept would be basically like a gated community. That sort of size, maybe 50 to 100 families or residences. I think that one of the main issues, because when you start multiplying that out, it starts to look like federalism again. If you're all paying into a big government that's going to do the defense, now we're getting back into the same system, and that clearly isn't where we want to be. But what I think is a major fault with the system now is actually how interrelated we are. Not to say I don't like people from other states, but maybe...
But fuck you.
But maybe if we all grew our own food, we might be better off. Maybe if we all grew our own forests to cut down to make our houses, we would be better off, because that would actually limit the population in certain areas to what that area can actually support. And unfortunately right now, with the possibility of peak oil, and even just with environmental issues and financial issues of shipping everything everywhere, we're building these unsustainable communities in places that are not meant to have that much population. So the idea would be everything would have to be self-sustaining. You would do what's called not aquaponics, or not aeroponics, but aquaponics, which actually uses fish, generally tilapia. They raise the fish on food scraps, and the waste from the fish feeds the nutrients to the plants. So you have your agriculture and you have your protein built in a closed system together, so you don't have to order big buckets of nutrients to feed your plants. It also has 7 times the output of normal farming. It takes less water, it takes less space.
Just point of order, or order like I'm conducting a fucking ceremony here. Just a question. So let's just say for a moment that I agree with you, and we'll go along with this self-sustaining state. Everyone watches out for their own. Every county or commune watches out for its own inside that state. All right, fine. I'm inclined to think that a lot of people would die if for only other reason, say there's a diabetic in Alaska, and we run out of insulin in Alaska, but we've got plenty of it in Washington, or plenty of it in California, or plenty of it in New York, or anywhere else, but we can't ship it to you. So sorry you were bummed, you were